This is another look at her second vault. Handspring front in the tuck position. Tucks a little early. Needs to open up a little sooner. Seemed to jar on her landing a tiny bit.
And I think we recognized all the athletes.
Before Andrea got up, our leader here was Tricia Dixon with a 9.525. Andrea earned a 9.6 on her first vault.
All of the coaches that watch this here this weekend, and they're going out to Lincoln, Nebraska next weekend. Contribute to your hard work.
And averaging her second score in, she gets a 9.5375. That's enough to take the lead in the vault contest.
From Sauk Center, Minnesota,
Laura Blank getting ready to vault now, qualified with a 9.45. That will not be good enough to win, though. This 12-year-old out of Minnesota trains with the Twin City Twisters.
trains with Capital City Gymnastics and Dwayne West.
In her first vault, a handspring double full, very different. We haven't seen this at all. It's much more of a technique vault. Very difficult to do. Lots of twisting. There it is. Pushes off 2 twists. Now this vault, interestingly enough, is worth a 10.0. So it's not the high-flying skills that we've been seeing, but because it's technically difficult, it's worth a 10.0. Handspring 2, excuse me.
Laura earns a 9.525 on her first vault, and the overall average to beat is just a shade higher at 9.5375.
I apologize, that vault is only worth a 9.9, not a 10.0, but still a high-valued vault.
Second try.
And she tries for 2.5. Now that's worth a 10. Very difficult to do that well because there's a lot of action going on. Pushes off and does 2.5 twists. Doesn't quite make it all the way around. We'll see if the judges give her credit for that complete 2.5 twist.
Second place with a 9.
Laura Blank earns a 9.475 on her second vault for an average of 9.5, and that puts her in third place. And so the official results in the women's 9 through 12 vault competition. Andrea DeShilly beating Tricia Dixon and Laura Blank. We'll be back with more. It's the women on uneven parallel bars when we return in just a moment. John Neighbor and Mar Driscoll here at the South Florida Fairgrounds for more of the Junior Olympic National Championships of Gymnastics. Let's take a look at one of the 2 winning routines on the uneven bars. Phaedra Dixon, 14 years old, out of Chicago, Illinois, turned in this great routine.
Phaedra was the Illinois State Bar Champion, so no huge surprise here. She has a lot of natural swing, and here comes some of it, an uprise to handstand to a front giant. She doesn't change her grip, and she's locking out the handstand. That's her release move, a Delchev. A little leg separation, but a very nice release move. And she hasn't gone quite to handstand before her uprise, but she is locking out, and she does an Arabian double front, a half twist into a double front, a very nice dismount.
At 5'2", Phaedra, one of the taller gymnasts in the meet.
We'll take another look at her release move. Here it comes. It's called a Delchev. It's sort of a backflip with a half twist and then re-grasping the bar again. The gymnasts are required to do 2 release moves in their routine.
And that early routine in the rotation earned a 9.75, and that was good enough for a gold medal. Alyssa Beckerman later tied that performance in the rotation, so 2 gold medals were awarded, the bronze to Stacy Wong. Here's Kristen Aronski, a 12-year-old out of Norfolk, Virginia, over on the uneven parallel bars. Her club, Gym Strata. Sounds a little bit like a Kurt Thomas movie.
It sure does. Kristen qualified for this event, scoring a 9.6 during the first day of competition, and she's actually out of the B group. Very tough to do because oftentimes scores in the earlier session are lower because the kids are ranked lower.
The ranking for today's individual event finals is done on a random draw.
There's her release move, a Tkachev, a D element, very difficult. Nice pirouette right on the top of the bar. That's what we're looking for in this event. Tight body positions, Nice swing. She really went for the handstand there on that straddle back. A little pause in the low bar, but remember, that high bar is so far away. And here comes her dismount. A full twisting double back. A little low on the landing. She was kind of munched. Her chest was at her knees. But a very difficult dismount and a fine routine. A great job. Let's take a look at this dismount. This is very different. We won't see many of these in the competition. It's 2 flips and 1 twist. Here's the twist and the 2 flips. She pulls it around a little low, but a very good job.
And the score for Kristen Oronsky, a 9.625. 9.550 is what Tara Phillips earned in her qualifying competition on the bars. The 11-year-old out of Houston, Texas, is the runner-up in the Texas State all-around competition, but was winner in this, the bars.
Tara is also from the B region, meaning she finished in spots 8 through 14 at her regional meet. And in order to qualify for this competition, you must place in the top 7 or top 14. Having a little form difficulty. There's a nice release move called the Delchev. You see, she caught it way far away from the bar, and that's what the judges are looking for. Nicely done. A straddle back to handstand, and she landed right in the handstand. Didn't play it safe. And her dismount, a double layout, a little form break. Bent her knees a little, but her coach is happy right there. Terry Walker gives her a big hug. There's her transition from low bar to high bar. She kind of had to get out of that. And there's her little form break, straddling up in the uprise. And a beautiful release move, really nicely done. It's called a Delchev. Now this is a double layout, an E move, 2 flips backward, completely stretched position, but she had a little form break, bent knees, leg separation, a slight deduction, but a nice landing.
And a possible title in the offing for Tara Phillips as she takes the lead on the bars with a 9.7. Our final performer on the uneven bars, Mary Skoka, 12-year-old out of Carmel, Indiana. The top score to beat is Tara Phillips' 9.7. Mary hails from the Indy School of Gymnastics. Marva Sharp, coach.
It's no real shocker that Mary is in the finals competition on this event. She is the reigning Indiana State Bar champion. She scored a 9.6 during the all-around competition to qualify, which was the 2nd highest bar score.
There's a lot of amplitude on that.
Exactly, an uprise to handstand. Did you see the height on that Tkachev? Very nicely done. She has a lot of natural swing. A little form break at the top of the handstand. A beautiful full and a half pirouette. Form break again, but that's a very difficult skill. And a double pike dismount. Nice and high to a great landing. A few minor form deductions, but a very nicely swung routine. Mary has a sister, Megan, who will be going to the Senior JO Nationals in Lincoln, Nebraska. Two kids in the same family making the JO Nationals. And they've done this 2 years in a row. This is another look at her uprise to handstand. A lot of swing. Look how easy that is. She just floats up there, locks out at the handstand, and goes right into a Tkachev. It's also called a reverse hecht. It's that combination that renders bonus, the uprise into the immediate reverse hecht. Look at that, 1.5 twist, very difficult to do. A little bit off, a little form break, but very difficult. We didn't see many of those 1.5 pirouettes. In her dismount, a double pike, sees the ground, spots the landing, boom.
And the score for Mary Skoka at a 9.675. That ties her for 2nd place. Tara Phillips wins. A 2-way tie for the silver medal with Kristen Oronsky and Mary Skoka. When we return, the women mount the beam in just a moment.
Welcome back. I'm Barry Tompkins. You know what amazes me? How gymnasts look so graceful despite equipment that looks like it should be on an assembly line. Coming up next, they're on the balance beam, a 16-foot-long piece of wood, 4 feet off the ground, and only 4 inches wide. It's kind of like walking along on the top of your backyard fence and doing a couple of backflips just for fun. Once again, here's John Neighbor and Maura Driscoll.
We're back in Palm Beach, Florida, as we continue our coverage of the 1995 Junior Olympic National Gymnastics Championships. Here's Sarah Meisberger getting ready to mount the beam from the American Twisters Club out of Pompano Beach, Florida. She finished 4th in the all-around at her regional championships this year.
Again from the hometown host club, American Twisters out of Pompano Beach, Florida. Coaches Tim and Tony Rand. It's called a planche, and it must be held for 2 seconds, and she has incredible strength. It's very difficult to hold a skill like that called the planche. Requires tremendous shoulder strength. Very nice jump combination. And her leap pass, a switch side leap. Gym Acro series. Sarah trains at the same club as Kelly Davis, who is a senior international elite competitor. An excellent flight series, 2 back handsprings into a layout step out. That was a straddle jump 3/4 turn. I believe that is a D element, so she has her D move. And her dismount, a double full, a little off to the side, but a great routine.
A little relieved at the end of that one.
Here's the goal. Okay, that's halfway through this rotation. Let's go ahead and get you into your 30-second touch, and we'll get into the
Here's a
last
look at her flight
one.
series, back handspring, layout step out to a great landing. She seems very confident up there. And that's called a straddle jump 3/4 turn. A little bobble. And her dismount, a round off double full, didn't get a lot of height off of the beam, didn't push through her feet all the way.
And that routine by Sarah Meisberger earns a 9.45, good enough to take the lead in that event. Christine Mantilia getting ready now to mount the beam. Trains out of New Canaan, Connecticut with the Arena Gymnastics Club. Coca-Cola Invitational, she earned the all-around and beam titles. In her Region 6, she is the all-around and champion on all 4 apparatus. This kid's good.
She certainly is. She's coached by Frank and Lori DiFrancesco.
She's 13 years old from Perry, Michigan.
Formerly Lori Hicks, who was a coach at a gym that I trained at many moons ago.
Garrett and Kim Hartwick.
Remember, if the gymnasts have all of their requirements, this is a beautiful reverse planche. The judges have a difficult job here. They have to look for all the combination bonus. There's a flip-flop layout step out. Her flight series. A switch side lead. And a front tuck on the beam. Very difficult to do. It's a blind move. Tough to go for that skill when you're as young as she is. Jump series, very nicely done. Now that was a straddle jump half turn. She did it with a full turn. It's called a popa, and those are D elements, so she's all set with that. And a double full dismount to a great landing. A very nice routine. Now watch her mount. She presses up to a handstand, and watch the back flexibility here. She arches her back.
That's a Kim Zmeskal pose.
Kind of a reverse planche. Requires a tremendous amount of strength and back flexibility. This is a straddle jump half turn, and she has a little bobble, but she's going to go into another straddle jump half turn, I believe, or it just came out of that. But that is a D element worth 1/10 of bonus. And it is a requirement during the finals competition, but not yesterday. A little off to the side there, punched off the edge of the beam, but still took it around very well and didn't have to move on the landing.
The score for Mantilia, 9.475, and that puts her as our current leader in the beam. Welcome back for more of the Junior Olympic Gymnastics National Championships here in West Palm Beach as we take a look at the winner in the women's balance beam. 13 and 14-year-old category, Cammie Singer, proved victorious with this particular beam routine. She hails from the Colorado Aerials team in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
John, I am so impressed with this young gymnast. She has a lot of confidence, especially on the balance beam, and a great deal of poise. Also, her routine is jam-packed with difficulty. Remember, a lot of the gymnasts had to step up their difficulty for the finals by including at least one D element. Well, Cammie has 2 Ds and an E, so that just gives you an idea of the things she can do.
And she was already victorious in the all-around competition, and everyone was watching as she turned in this gold medal performance.
Not only did she win the all-around at the national meet, but at her state meet and her regional meet. So she's getting used to this winning thing, I think.
14 years old, coached by Tom and Lori Foster, Kathy Minahan.
Here's her flight series, back handspring, layout step out into a back handspring. And she had a little bit of a problem. It looks like her hand slipped just slightly on the last back handspring. And that's called a sheep jump. That is an E element. It's so difficult because you're totally taking your eyes off of the balance beam. Remember, it's only 4 inches wide. Here comes another one of her D elements, or the first one we'll see in the routine. It's a punch front. Very difficult again because you're rotating forward. It's a completely blind element. And her dismount, watch this, a double back. Nice and high, a little low on the landing, but a beautiful routine. Take another look at her flight series. Now watch her last back handspring. She has beautiful form in the beginning, but see her arm, her right arm sort of bent a little. It seemed her hand slipped. Now here comes the sheep jump, an E move. And that's worth 2/10 of bonus. And that's a pike jump.
And so Cammie earned a 9.625, good enough for the gold. And so the official results in the women's 13-14 event on beam, Cammie Singer defeating Gina Rice and Cheryl Lancaster. Mara's with the champion and her coach.
Here's our Junior Olympic national champion in the all-around from the 13 to 14-year-old age group. This is Cammie Singer. And congratulations, Cammie. You won the state championship, the regional championship, and now the national championship. How does this compare to those meets?
Well, I really went in here and hit all my events. And in state and regionals, I didn't hit the best that I could, but this time I did, and this is when it counted.
Well, congratulations to you and your coach, Kathy Minahan. Kathy, you're from Region 3, which is a dominant region. What do you attribute the dominance to?
We have some of the top clubs in the country in Region 3, Dynamos Gymnastics, Colorado Aerials, and Cypress and Crowley. So we all have to work really hard if we don't even want to make the team. So just a lot of hard work.
Here's Katie Frost out of Grand Island. Trains with the Twisters Club. Ricardo Rappel, her coach. She is the Nebraska state champion.
She's 13 from Houston, Texas.
She is out of Region 4. Remember, to qualify for the Junior Olympic Nationals, The gymnasts had to place in the top 7 at their regional meet. So this is the best of the best in the country. And here comes her flight series. Back handspring, layout, step out, layout, step out. Different combination from what we've seen. 2 layouts in a row. It's a more difficult combination because you're combining 2 C elements instead of a B and a C. And here's a punch front, very difficult to do, but it is a D element. She didn't need that for yesterday's competition, but she certainly needs it for tonight's. Jump combination. Setting up for a dismount, taking a little bit of time there. A round off double tuck, another D, a very nice routine, lots of difficulty.
And a lot of points Katie is hoping for.
She didn't have as much of the polish as some of the other gymnasts, but she certainly had a lot of difficulty. And this is one of her leap passes, a switch leg leap into immediate straddle jump, tuck jump. These jumping combinations are required in the routines. And her dismount, a round off, double back, just 4 inches wide, gets her feet on, turns it around, and lands it.
And with Mantillia's high score of 9.475, the score to beat, Frost goes ahead of her with a 9.5. Our current leader on beam. And so the final results in the women's beam competition. Katie Frost wins. Christine Mantilia comes in second, and Sarah Meisberger finishes with the bronze. When we return, the women and music on floor exercise right after this.
Shine in the floor exercise at the festival. You know, it's the one event that really showcases creativity. It isn't just tumbling, twisting, and whipbacks. It's a combination of athleticism and artistic impression. So sit back right now and watch as America's future Olympians take to the floor.
Welcome back for more of the 1995 Junior Olympic National Gymnastics Championships. Here's Julie Rankin on the floor exercise, a 12-year-old out of Houston, Texas, trains with the Caroli Club. We spoke with her earlier, and she told us how she came to become a gymnast.
Well, when I was little, I was really bouncy, and I always jumped around, and my parents just thought I had to do something to get all my energy out. So they put me in gymnastics.
Julie finished 6th all around during the first day competition, and she is a tough little kid. She just turned 12 years old, trains at Caroli's, as you said. Here comes her first tumbling pass. A double tuck, nice and high, drops out of the sky to a great landing. She's very comfortable out there in terms of her artistic impression and showing it off to the crowd, which is very impressive for someone who just turned 12. That really is the big difference between the Junior Olympic level and the elite level. It's experience and confidence and poise. There are 3 whipbacks into a double full.
That's a Kim Zemeskel routine, isn't
That's
it?
a great tumbling pass. That's how you raise the value of your routine, by combining certain elements. You can see she has a lot of drama to her dance and a lot of expression. Her final tumbling pass is a Rudy. That's an E element worth 2/10 of bonus. A fine job for Julie Rankin out of Caroli's gym. This is another look at her middle tumbling pass. She does 3 whipbacks. Watch this. 1 and 2 and 3 into an immediate double full. Very difficult, lots of combinations, lots of bonus there.
And a 9.7 for Julie Rankin on the floor exercise. Nicole Lime, who finished 8th in the all-around here. She trains at the Cincinnati Gymnastics Academy and hails from Westchester, Ohio.
Nicole trains the same gym as World Championship team members Amanda Borden and J.C. Phelps. She finished 4th in the floor exercise during the first day of competition with a score of 9.575. There's a whip back through to a double back. That raises the value of the double back, and a big smile. She's glad she got that out of the way. This is a fun chance for the gymnasts to express their personality through their movement and dance. And front tumbling, 2 layouts. She was warming that up earlier, and it was supposed to be 2 layouts, but she kind of tucked a little on the second layout. Nicole was the Ohio State all-around champion, and she finished 3rd all-around at her regional championship meet. Good time to get a little breather before your last tumbling run. And hers is a triple full. An excellent last tumbling pass. An E move, very difficult. What a routine. This is her second tumbling pass. She does 2 front layouts, but you can see on the second layout, she starts to bend her knees. She does a tuck instead of a layout. And her last tumbling pass, which most people reserve for the first tumbling pass because it's so difficult, she does 3 twists. 1 flip and 3 twists. It's an E element worth 2/10 of bonus. And a big smile.
And the great routine by the freckled-faced Nicole Lime earns a 9.725, the highest score on the floor so far.
And her difficulty was certainly rewarded.
Olympic Odyssey continues after these messages.
Coming up just a little bit later.
Fairgrounds at West Palm Beach, John Neighbor with Mara Driscoll for more of the Junior Olympic National Championships. And this coming up is what we saw earlier, a gold medal winning routine on floor exercise by Gina Rice, a 13-year-old from Longwood, Florida.
Gina trains at Brown Central, and her mom is her coach, formerly Joan Rice, now Joan Nat. She was a 1972 Olympic gymnast. And here's her first tumbling pass. She does a whip back into immediate 2.5 twist. Very difficult combination. 2.5 twist is a D element, but it's upgraded in value because of the whip back that precedes it directly. Gina has excellent dance and great presentation for a gymnast so young. I guess it's in the genes.
It should be noted that Gina finished 2nd in the all-around competition here in West Palm Beach after finishing 1st in the all-around last year.
She's a very strong all-around gymnast. Here's her second tumbling pass, a front handspring through to a front full. That is